Hello again, to the second part of kind of this video series showing off the AI system. I said there was two in the first video. It looks like there is in fact going to be more than that, just to kind of split them up a little smaller. So I've just gone ahead and quickly brought in my AI system on top of the animation blueprint that we have set up, and I'm just going to show some basic functionality with the patrol points. So with the AI system in, all you need to do is open the warrior blueprint, and all I've gone ahead and done is class settings, parent class, and swapped it over to base melee pawn from character that it was. So this guy's sword and shield, he's going to be a melee character, so we'll go with a melee class. So from there, if you click this eye, you can see show inherited variables. So that's going to give us some options just here, which we'll see later. The only other thing that it's really important just at this stage to do is go to the construction script and make sure you do right click add call to parent function, because I am doing stuff in the construction script that is important for some stuff later. So without further ado, we can simply drop one of these guys in the level, come over to the AI folder, and drag and drop some of these patrol modes around. So the patrol modes have a list of functions here, functionality. We've got next patrol point, which we'll cover first. So handy eye picker tool, we just pick something from the scene, and as I pick this last one, it closes the circuit so they'll go green, and you can see these arrows kind of update as you move them around, pointing to and from, which is just a really nice feature as a developer tool, kind of seeing where your patrol routes are. So our minion then, in this setup set, we've got should wander when no objective, initial patrol point, and team. We'll ignore the second two for a second, just pick that initial patrol point, and we'll see him start wandering. So he will wander to that point, immediately pass on through, so we've got that delay set to 0. Hit that point, turn around, come back to the final point, which points back at the first one, and the cycle continues. So really stock standard patrol behavior, just nice and simple patrolling in a loop. So nothing too fancy there. Adding in some abilities, so delay is pretty simple. So delay at point is just how many seconds he's going to sit there thinking while he's at that point or guarding. So we'll chuck something else on top of that, this other use point desired rotation. If we check that, we'll actually see another arrow appear that's facing the direction the actor is facing. So just pressing space, it is just the direction of the actor, that will update. So here we just set what direction he should face while he's waiting at that point. So in this case, put the two arrows there, this is simply saying it's pointing to this point here, and we'll put it here as well. Sure, we can face back up, kind of the way he came-ish. And what we'll see, we didn't have a delay or a use rotation on that first one, so you can see he's just passed through there. He'll arrive at this second one, and I think we rotated around so he faces that way when he gets there. We'll wait for a couple of seconds, watching there very intently, before moving on to this point down here, where he should pretty much do a 180, walk almost back the way he came, that's the one, and then move on. So really nice, I mean, you can jack those delay values up, and you've got some really simple and yet very effective patrol behavior there. You should be able to plot out some really nice routes within a dungeon or within a kind of environment where someone is looking over ledges and things like that. So with those, quickly delete those and just show one more bit, which is just some standard guarding behavior and kind of the pawn on its own. So let's forget about the patrol points for a second. This should wander when no objectives, so if we just leave him there, he's just fine to stand there. And I haven't set up the play to be attackable, we'll cover that in a later video, so at the moment he sees me and he doesn't realise that I'm a valid attack target. But he's just staring, doing not much. If we check on this should wander when no objective, basically he just gets a little more lively. He'll just passively wander when he hasn't been told to do anything, so it's a really nice fallback behavior. You know, if you're telling them to attack and move to a point, they get to the point, and then when you get there, wander. Just make sure they're never just all facing the same direction or anything like that, so just kind of gives a bit of life to them. and it does combine really nicely. So he's picking points on the nav mesh, so he's never going to try and walk through the wall or anything. It combines really nicely, so if we come back to the patrol point, with this radius you generally want it pretty tight when you're doing a route, but if we just want to guard a point, 750, or however big you want, 750 is probably around a circle, it's not too big, put that up to 1000 maybe. So if we want to do that, and then give him that point, it essentially becomes a guard point, because it's not pointing to another patrol point, so he doesn't think it's a patrol route. He just kind of wants to wander around near that point, which makes for a really nice guard behavior. So with the wandering, he may end up actually veering off, substantially to the left or right, because he's picking random points. He may just passively wander off in a certain direction. With this, he can't do that because he's constantly picking points within the radius set of that patrol point, so he will constantly be patrolling around, guarding that point. And at the moment we've set no delay on those, so he will just patrol around like he did when we didn't have the patrol point set, just kind of walking from point to point, picking new areas and patrolling back and forward. So if we do want to kind of set a little delay, just make this a bit shorter so it's easy to see. Maybe move him a bit closer to start with. So we'll pick points, wait for a couple of seconds, pick more points, and just walk to those. Now this does combine with another thing, the use desired point rotation. So this time our blue arrow will be back, and we can set him to kind of patrol an area whilst always having a certain direction to face. So this time he'll do the exact same thing. He'll walk from point to point, turn around, and face that direction for that 2-second wait. So, and then he's spun around again because he's picked a point further back, spin around to face that side, pick another place, but always facing that one direction. So really good for guarding a hallway or something where you always want him facing that direction. So that really quick just covers the basic patrol point behavior. With those tools, we've been able to set up pretty much all of the dungeons we want as far as just kind of patrolling minions, being able to stealth up on them and things like that. We'll cover kind of the more complex part of the minion setup in the next video.